Okay, more by guess than by golly. Ow. Come back up here. Chasing my parts around. Better have a battery, better have an impact, have a screwdriver, and I wasn't a bit ready. Hope you don't get dizzy. I do a lot of this running around and around and around looking for shit. Okay. See if we can get that piece glued down a little bit. See if we've actually made some progress. Other way. Come out there. All righty. Well, that looks a little bit better for there. Let's see if we're making headway on the other side yet. Oh yeah, there's some clearance. Nothing seems to be rubbing too bad back there. Probably don't need that. We'll deal with that in a little bit. All right. Okay, where'd my soapstone go? What the desired results here is to make these holes smaller and smaller without taking off so much that I go the other direction. Looks like I need to bend that, kind of, or just cut it off. Okay, where's my line? There's my line. This has been a lot easier to do if I'd have done this without having all these wires in here. But hell, that would come from experience, and I ain't got that yet. We're getting there though. Yeah, something like that, sort of ish. We'll sneak up on it a little bit at a time and kind of see what's what. I have a sneaking suspicion we can probably lose that from about right there to there without hurting ourselves too much. What do you think? Oh boy. Let's see if we can get one more cut out of this old wafer wheel or two before we lose it. say we got about all the goodie we're gonna get out of that wheel. Hey, that's hot, dummy. And sharp. Let's see if we made any progress. Come with me. Come on. Come on now. Get over here. So far, I see one major drawback to having y'all along with me. I'm used to having Pandora playing. But that's all copyrighted music, and I don't have permission to use it. So I've just got to entertain myself with hearing my own head rattle. Okay. Huh. Oh, there. I cut off. Cut off. Cut off all the angles I recognized and couldn't figure out which way to put this silly thing. Alrighty. Well, slowly but surely, as planned, or as I hoped anyway, we appear to be sneaking up on it. I think it's about time for me to figure out what I've done with my soapstone again. Of course, lost that. I'll take an imaginary line across right about right there. And go over here and pick up a hammer and do some whomping on this. If I don't forget where I put my imaginary line. Dumb glasses, I can't see without them, and I can't see to get around with them. So if I stumble and fall, y'all get to laugh. All right. Where's my hammer? I spent a lifetime, all of my two sons' young life, they spent chasing this hammer down for me and finding it, because I was forever losing it. And this is the only one that works right. Okay. Imaginary line right there. I don't know if this is the right way to do this or not, but I'm going to close up that. Well, close it up, smash it flat, expand it, whatever I'm going to do, but I'm going to get rid of that hump. Metal Shapers 101, what not to do and how to do it. All right. I'm going to take that imaginary line about an inch below that and roll it back to hopefully kind of match the forward firewall. Naturally, there's still a reinforcing strip on the back there. Let's see if we can alleviate that. Maybe not spot welded. And 3 layers thick right there. Before anybody goes into a major panic on what I'm doing on this little truck right now, it's not going to stay that way. The plan is get it together, functional, run it throughout this summer season, and if I still own it come winter, blow it apart and actually clean up some things and make changes as necessary. Right now, the body is as found. Well, I blew the rat poop out of it. I don't really have any real plans to do any what I call shiny shit. It's a rusty, crusty body, and I'll probably leave it that way. It serves its purpose for me as a shop truck that I can take where I need to, when I need to, without having to worry about door dings and scratches and whatever. So if it'll take me up and down the road and make me at least think I'm cool getting there, then the truck serves its purpose. And I probably could have continued to replace the peeling tape in the floor until then, but that was a little too hokey for me. Besides that, I'd like for my wife to go for a ride with me, and without insulation in that cab, it'd just be too hot for her, plain and simple. So, I'm going to insulate the floor, firewall. I got to have one first. Now then, okay, that way. That goes up like that. That meets that. That needs to stay flat. What I'm doing right now is probably, well, trying to get something on the floor. But as far as my filming and editing and all that stuff, which I still know nothing about, I'm probably making a whole bunch of video that's going to be absolutely useless with all this hammer pounding, but everybody's got to start somewhere. And like I said the other day, this is that place for me. I'm forever doing something eclectic or oddball, but I haven't done a full car project in years. And when I was doing it, most of my early life was tube chassis dune buggies. Oh, would you looky there. You're sneaking up on something I can live with, folks. You probably can't see that, make any sense out of it, but there was a pretty big gap in there, and its gap is closing up. So, okay, where's my, of course I wiped my tattletale line off of what I was doing. I guess if you can't see what you're looking at, see if you can feel it. Okay, what's my, ow, hey, elbow. Damn. Alrighty. Well, that I. Well, that's what happens when you're working on a floor with your big old hole in it. You lose your flashlight. Yeah, well, it's in there. There you are. Now can I get my stubby arm? Ha! Oh. Flashlight. You get old and blind, you can't live without a good flashlight. Ow. you look at that? Would you just look at that? Just look at it. It's not quite a beautiful thing yet, but it's sneaking up on being. Well, don't just sit there, lend a hand. Oh, you're just along for the ride. I'm on this by myself, ain't I? Well, crap. All right. Well, I planned that to be on the other side of that, but that could actually work. I mean, it's starting the right direction anyway. Let's step back and get a better eyeball on this. Oh my golly, looky there. Some hammer pounding that down, and I can get a long enough screw through that to suck that back, or a longer clamp. Hey, let's go see if we can find one of them really long vice grip clamps that don't quite fit anywhere, and get it wedged up in there and see if we can pull them together. If we can pull those together, then we can call that progress. Looky there. No, there ain't a blessed thing in here organized or where it belongs. Partly because ever since we got this building, these bays have been basically chest full and in storage detail while we was Rubik's cubing trying to restore the building. Well, the office has been restored, and this first bay is painted. We got that far. My wife had her flower shop in the office part for a couple of years until she retired a couple of years ago. And while I was out of town on a job, after I officially retired, I took a job as a consultant. And when I came home to start my retirement hobby shop, seems that all my buddies in the world has moved off to another state. Well, the intent when we bought the building was to restore it and sell it anyway, so that's always been part of the plan. That schedule got moved up a little bit. It took longer to do what we've done to the building, and our retirement needs have changed. So for the first time in 8 years, I'm actually working in my building instead of on it. And I plan to continue to until it sells. If it sells. When it sells, if it sells. I don't know. Semantics, I suppose. In the meantime, if I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, I've got to get rid of some more junk, or at least Rubik's Cube and organize this building to where it's functional. Well, as functional as it's going to get with me anyway. But anyway, I'm off in search of some more temporary fasteners to hold those pieces together in my pile of goodies. I was looking for those little short self-tapping button heads, but maybe not. Like most things, I know I've got them. I'll find them as soon as I move on to something else. There's some screws that would work. but they're not self-tappers. I'm lazy, so we'll go search some more. And I'm sorry to drag you along like this. Like I said, wasn't particularly prepared. Wasn't really unprepared. But if you want to hang out with me, this is what I do. This is the way I do it. Most of my time is spent running around circles, in all honesty. Will I get more organized? Yeah, maybe. I always kept an organized work area professionally, but in my own shop, things had a tendency to be where they left my hands. And yes, it's absolutely maddening. Some would say that's a sign of a cluttered mind. Well, maybe it is. Because my mind goes the same way. It's 1,000 miles an hour in 1,000 different directions at the same time, all the time. Well, those are way longer than I want, but they might hold together long enough to get proof of function. And I can simply pull them out and spot up the hole. Yeah, in theory anyway. Let's see if this is gonna work, or I'm gonna make blood. Look there. Snag my finger and it's trying to bleed. This OLD is not for sissies, I'm telling you. Sorry about that. Plug your ears. Let's do that a couple more times, and I might be able to relax that. Yeah, it's may not be birdie to you, but I like it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you don't know any more about what I'm doing than I do. Yes, in due time, those screws will come out, because one of these days I'll be on the other side of this firewall working on it, and I really don't want them in there cutting the shit out of me, and I know they will. But that probably won't be until, like I said earlier, until I blow this truck apart. We'll get in here and seam sealer, and I mean, I'll probably take the screws out before then, but hey, where'd you go? Come back here. You don't want to have to go down and buy something we already got. Maybe I better stop what I'm doing and go back to working on filling this hole in the floor, because that's the umpteenth thing I've dropped down through there in the last 10 minutes. The reason why I'm carrying you with me so long this time, because I don't know how to edit yet. So I figured I'd try to make a longer video. Maybe I'll figure out this editing thing. Okay, that's getting boring. I'm tired of that game already. Let's turn around here and get off the top of my head. Maybe that's what the problem is. All bloods are under my head. Top of my head. If you got a big old melon like I do, you know that's not a comfortable thing. See it. Get out of there. Okay, well that's made it up nice. I pull that around and that, well, poo. It's got a little bit of an angle on it I don't like. Gonna have to make a little adjustment on that. Looky there. Can you believe that? That's because it wasn't where it's supposed to be. It's laying right there where I dropped it the other day. What do you think? Can we get in there about that much? That looks like a pretty good much. Yeah, that looks bow-waggled. And maybe as I bring that down, it'll pull this back. I don't know. The little stubby fingers ain't quite long enough to get down in there. Oh, poop. I'll quit throwing tires. Throwing them underneath there, they're gonna wind up in the tire. There's a body nut down in there. I didn't know was there. I just saw this. Hey, looky here. I just saw that laying there the other day. I forgot all about that thing hanging up underneath there, all camouflaged. Funny all the crap you find in your shop when you're actually out there doing something in it. Besides feeding the kitties every morning and going back to the house, sitting on my butt watching somebody else do this kind of crap. And that's not that I don't enjoy watching other fellas do this. It's inspirational. But there's one particular fella I've been watching a lot of lately that keeps reminding me that sitting on my butt is not getting my projects done. So, and he genuinely looked like he was having a good time, so here I am. I thought, well, hell, that feller's younger than me. He figured it out. And he couldn't have been any more computer illiterate than I am. So, well, hell, let me get me some too. I'll just get in there and get me some too. I guess whatever it takes to get me out of my shop is a good thing, maybe. Yeah, I know. Go town, buy another screwdriver tip, yeah, magnet, good magnet base. Or do like I done when I was a kid, take a hammer and nail and knock a hole in the damn thing, then put a screw in it. Obviously, I've never built metal buildings for a living because I'd starve to death. Take me an hour to get one row of screws in. And here I am laying upside down with all the blood running to my head again. I just proved that I can't do that a minute ago. Liar out of me, will you? more screw, and I'm gonna shut you off. And then maybe later I'll figure out how to splice all this together and actually make something out of it. Alrighty. Now, part of the reason for doing these screws when I did them is because I already know that this line right here has got to be cut back and or bent up to match this to give clearance in here. And I'm gonna have to do something here to get clearance for these lines. So those screws will probably be coming back out. And maybe like these, moved and adjusted again. But for now, that's what we got. Young man, I'll watch this. Progress is progress, and that's a little bit of progress. So I made a little bit of progress on my project, and I got some more video footage that I got to figure out what to do with. See you in a little bit.